Tune us in, turn it up, keep it on. Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
All right, about 2:15. This is Mike and Cash, the Cirque Du Sirois show, in for Bad Radio. They're going to be here shortly doing the hardline shift, dry dock, in effect. About a big soccer Saturday, did Cash and I, and it did start on the couch. We watched the U.S. national team. They beat Cuba 4-1. Kind of a cool story with the U.S. MNT is Chris Wondolowski. He normally plays for the San Francisco Earthquake. The guy scored twice in the game against Cuba. He had a hat trick in his last game versus Belize. Basically 6 goals in his last 3 matches. And, you know, like, you watch him, and even the Winalda who's doing the game is like, no one can believe, like, he's not fast, he's not big, he just finds the back of the net. Now, the guys who are on the U.S. national team right now for Jurgen Klinsmann are not like the normal best of the best guys you'll see in the World Cup. And even Wondolowski scoring 6 goals in his last 3 matches is not likely to make the national team when they're playing in their biggest games. But this is the Gold Cup, and this dude's got kind of a cool story. In the last game against Belize, when he had the hat trick, they misspelled his name on his jersey. I mean, his name's Wondolowski, so it's hard. But they added an extra W, like Wondolowski, and he scored a hat trick.
So is he going to keep it like that?
Well,
now?
That's the thing, is he ripped it off after the game, but he's like, what am I doing here, dude? I scored a hat trick. So he had the equipment guy sew it on the inside of his jersey. So, like, he has the extra W still on his jersey.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
then
Michael Jordan wearing his practice shorts from North Carolina.
Right, underneath. Yeah, exactly.
Every game.
And it's working because he had 2 goals, and he could have had another hat trick against Cuba. I mean, granted, it's Cuba, and this is the Gold Cup. It's not exactly the best competition. But
I am the soccer dummy.
Well, so am I.
But even in between us. So we are now officially getting to the point to where we need to paying attention to who these players are for the World Cup coming up, right?
Yeah. But again, these guys, like, there's only a few guys on this team that are going to be part of that team. So, like, you know, the best of are practicing with their Euro teams or, you know, wherever their normal teams are.
Well, that's what I need to start paying attention when it's time to start paying attention.
Well,
and my getting my soccer blood up was part of what this field trip was to go see an FC Dallas game, because we've been a couple times, and every time we go, it's fantastic. And I hear nothing but fantastic, you know, times that are spent. And I've got friends that live up north that are like, dude, you got to come. It's a great time. We go with our family. It's, you know, fantastic. So that's why we decided we're going to have our field trip up there.
Dallas comes into the game that they played on Saturday night basically ice cold. They hadn't won a game in 7 matches, but a win on Saturday would have, I think, put them on top of the Western Conference because they started the year really hot. And the start of the year being hot and kind of a late fade is sort of symbolism for how their actual games are going. They tend to start games really well, score quickly, push the ball quickly early, and then fade late in games. And that's exactly what happened in this game. I mean, they were all over Real Salt Lake early. I mean, they had scoring opportunities, and they just couldn't find the back of the net. And then they had a little set piece that you love so much, and then they screwed it up, and they go the other way. And that's how Real got on the board 1-0, which happened right in front of us. So, I mean, look, we don't know soccer that well, but it's really fun to go, and the team is really good. And they're still, you know, a playoff team and probably going to still threaten for the lead of the Western Conference, but they're not playing their best right now. And Real Salt Lake might be the best team in the MLS.
What I take from it is soccer is much like hockey in that the hardcore fan is going to go no matter what. And, you know, we're not even speaking to them really. Like, I'm speaking to myself. I'm speaking to the guy that loves sports and thinks about going up to a game but doesn't do it nearly as often as he probably should. You're going to have a good time. I mean, we absolutely had a blast. We met these guys. We got a couple tweets to meet us at this Londoner bar, which is basically right. The whole area around the game is almost the way that you wish other stadiums were.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's like a little world. And I think there's free parking, at least where we parked, there was free parking right by the Londoner. And yeah, they're there hours before the match. They're all decked out. DF Elite is the guys we hung out with. Dallas Football Elite. And you can check them out on Twitter at DF Elite. Brian Jones is a big P1 who I've known on Twitter for a while. He kind of invited us, hey, come on up, have a beer. And we got up there and we start pounding beers with those guys. Very cool. I mean, they're chanting like crazy in the bar, you know, half hour before the match, an hour before the match starts.
And I'll be honest, the plan was to go say attaboy to a couple of good Cirque P1s, have a beer,
right, and then
go because, you know, it wasn't real hot, but it was sort of hot, and we had access to the sweet air-conditioned, you know, thing, and that is what I thought the night was going to be. Well, turns out that we ended up having a blast.
Yeah, well, they're like, come check out Section 103, the snake pit where they all hang out. And it basically turned into the first time we got to watch a game, which we've enjoyed games no matter where we sat.
Right.
But we got to basically be part of a supporters group.
The experience.
and I'd never done anything like that before, and that's why I claim this to be the greatest 3-0 smashing terrible loss that I've ever been at, like the most fun.
All right, let's take you inside the snake pit real quick with 2 chants. First, this one's the clean one, I think. This is going to come from
out the ones that we need to beep
This
out.
is going to come from me. This is one of the chants that they do.
Dallas, and that's the way we like it. We like it. We like it.
So that's the kind of stuff that these guys are doing constantly. And what we found out was there's 2 big groups. The one group that wears all red, and then our guys that we were hanging out with that wear all blue.
DFE.
And, yeah, the guys in red seem to have a little bit more traditional.
Our guy, Sean Dorwalt, who I think runs DFE, took real good care of us, and he sort of described it as they do more of the hitting the drums and even chanting, which that was clearly. And he's like, we do more of just ripping on the opposing team. And I'm like, go on. And they would pick a guy and just tear him to shreds. And then the opposing bench was right there, and they'd have the guy in the orange penny sort of warming up. He may or may not even get in. And they're just singing these chants about how you will never get in the game, just ripping the other team. And it was really fun.
I would go so far as to say that this group might miss some actual soccer.
We did notice.
They're not maybe catching every nuance of the game in order to do their part,
right,
which is find a guy, fixate on him, and attempt to make his life hell.
It's like a house full of missed prices.
Yeah, really. Yes, kind of.
Yes.
And like their goalie got injured at one point, so the backup goalie starts warming up directly in front of this group of fans.
What's his name?
And they are screaming at this guy to put your gloves on. I mean, the stupidest.
Yeah, just ripping.
And then when he realized he wasn't getting in the game, they immediately started chanting for him to take his gloves off. So it's just pointed, just anything that could just divert your attention for even a nanosecond. Plus, you have now been to several FC Dallas games, and I think you might be part of the problem that there has not been a single goal scored in the handful of times that you've ever been to a game.
7 games now.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I've yet to see an FC Dallas goal.
All right, well, that is what makes this next chant all that more important, because all these guys want to do is get a goal and freak out. And so that's
my favorite chant.
That's what this chant's about.
Come on, Dallas, score a goal. It's really very simple. Put the ball into the net and we'll go
They're imploring.
They're listening to Andy.
Jason got a DUI.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Taking a shot at some dude.
Basically, was it Quiet Riot?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So the Quiet Riot song, We're Not Going to Take It, if you don't have a chant planned, just scream something to the music of Quiet Riot, We're Not Going to Take It, and then fill in the blanks, and then they'll all kind of like laugh and try to figure out what to fill the blanks with. Dude, that was fun, and I don't feel like I watched our team get destroyed, which they did in a massive game that they really needed to jump on top of their conference.
I do have some thoughts.
Uh-oh.
The soccer scarf is well known throughout the world. I mean, there's the colors of your team. You write a couple things on it, and there's a couple of very hot women that are behind the goal that are putting it above their heads, and it all looks really – but it's 100 degrees. Isn't there something more Texas that we can do? I don't have the idea. I don't have the answer.
The bolo tie.
There you go. That's your Dallas bolo tie?
Yeah.
Bolo tie.
Think about it.
Or maybe a little fan, or maybe a Texas soccer iced tea.
One of those frozen towels you can put around your neck that they sell on TV.
I guarantee they do sell those in the gift shop, I bet.
No doubt.
Texas Till I Die is their...
Dallas Till I Die,
Dallas Till I Die is their...
DTID.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm that. I do like that, too.
That's the...
I'm serious. Like, as we're there, I thought it while we were there. And granted, it was a little bit... Now, the place was basically packed. I mean, there were seats available, certainly, but it was... I mean, twice I looked around, I'm like, dude, look, it is packed everywhere.
Yep.
We're a little skewed by being in the middle of... And, like, we weren't even on the side of the DFE. Sean basically was like, come here, and he put us right in the middle of it. I mean, we couldn't have been taken better care of, and like to immerse in as mad as it gets out there.
My highlight of the day was being right there and being allowed to control the smoke machine.
Yeah, he let Cash run the official smoke machine.
Terrible idea.
No, it was
Do they know
fantastic.
about his gout?
But it was fantastic. I think that is the ultimate toy to bring into arena, and it just, it doesn't work in other places, I guess. But they had a smoke machine, and, man, I got to press that button whenever I wanted. Such power.
It just, like, as you're enjoying it, I was sitting there like, imagine if the Cowboys games were like this.
Yeah.
Where, imagine the Cowboys battling at home against the Giants in the NFC East late in the season, forget all those situations, and the crowd is just going nuts.
There's something inherent about it not being sold out 24/7 and the ticket being so hard to get, in that these people that are hardcore take ownership and feel pride that they're the ones that care. And they don't really care whether you don't care or not, because they care about the team, they care about what's happening tonight, and they care about going absolutely bonkers.
But I will say, they also care as much about their own group and, like, the loyalty of their own group.
Yeah, there's concentric circles.
Because even when they were down 3-0, the groups are still basically going crazy, and they want to show that they are still going crazy.
Well, FC Dallas is a thing that you should do.
The one thing I don't know is how you get into. It might be just so simple as go on Twitter and check out DF Elite, because I don't know how you get it. Like, are we in it now, or do we have to pay some dues or something?
We should have probably asked.
Or do you just show up and party with them?
Oh, they didn't tell you about the word?
The big meeting?
Oh, no, that's too bad.
Why?
You didn't touch the smoke machine.
I tried to start one
You didn't touch the
chant.
smoke machine either, did you?
I tried to start one chant, failed. Didn't touch the smoke machine, and I've brought nothing but failure to the team.
Yeah, I don't think.
So maybe they're like, Cash!
Yeah, you're a guy.
You come back always. Mike,
right.
No. Well, for real, as far as bang for your buck and just damn fun, go check out FC Dallas and go check out the DFE, because those boys know what they're doing.
All right, coming up next, what exactly does Johnny Football have to do?